Thank you for joining Sports Development Series. We yours truly, Boma, Ekiyor.
Our Sportdev series is sponsored by Arewa Baobab Fruit Powder, one of the most nutritious substances on the planet. Get your Baobab Fruit Powder from arewabaobab.com.
Sportdev series, welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us today. So we are today, October 13th. Actually, it was on October 12th. They had the draw for the African Cup of Nations. The tournament is going to be held next year between January 13th and February 11th, 2024 in Abidjan, Côte d'Ivoire, or in Côte d'Ivoire, not necessarily just Abidjan. And so yesterday they had the draw. They had a ballot where each team is placed into groups, and then this forms the preliminary round where teams will then compete to see who gets into the knockout stages and then try to decide who ends up winning the tournament. So we have a number of groups here, groups A through group F. And group A, we have the host, Ivory Coast, Côte d'Ivoire, Nigeria, My Super Eagles, Equatorial Guinea, and Guinea-Bissau. So looking at this group, given the experience, guys who've been to the World Cup, who have the pedigree of players, you look at Côte d'Ivoire, they have some really good players, not as good as they used to. There was a time where they were a real factory in producing some high-quality talent, what some people call their golden generation. But now it's kind of just a lot of good players still, but not what it was. So I would say, looking at these four teams, Equatorial Guinea and Guinea-Bissau, they may compete, but I don't really see them putting up that much of a challenge. Nigeria and Cote d'Ivoire go through in this group. And I think Nigeria comes out on top just because of the quality they have. They do have a lot of really good standout players, especially up front. I would go as far as to say I don't think another country has the strike force Nigeria has up front. So going to Group B, we have Egypt, Ghana, the Black Stars, Cabo Verde, and Mozambique. Looking at this, Cabo Verde has really competed over the last couple of years. They've really come together. Mozambique is, you never know what you're going to get. But Cabo Verde has been able to compete. I don't know too much about the current team they have, whether or not they're up to par. But Ghana, Egypt won the competition multiple times, been to several World Cups, have the talent and pedigree. Yeah, those two guys go through in this group. So Group C, we have Senegal, Cameroon, Guinea, and Gambia. Unless you've been living under a rock, you can't miss the quality Senegal has. I mean, and they've added Nicolas Jackson, who's coming into his own at Chelsea. So, Sadio Mane and Koulibaly. I mean, it's just a stack of really good players. I really don't see how the other teams could compete with them here. So when you look at this group and you look at the quality they have, you just have to go with Senegal being tops of the group. Cameroon, coming off the last performance in the World Cup, they ended up beating Brazil. So they do have the ability to come in here and really compete and do well. I think they will. It's a good team, a lot of good talents. Question for Cameroon is, can they play as a team? That's always been their Achilles heel. So we'll see what happens there. But yeah, Senegal, Cameroon go through. Guinea and Gambia. Gambia has a young team, a lot of really good young talent, a lot of pace with Gambia. So they could come in and compete, but there might be maybe an upset here, depending on whether or not Senegal and Cameroon take those other two countries lightly. But I don't see that happening. honestly, Senegal and Cameroon go through. And so Group D, we have Algeria, Burkina Faso, Mauritania, and Angola. It's another good group. Algeria is, I see them just walking through this whole group with no one stopping them. They're a force, really good team. Have the kind of players that could go in there and just destroy everything. So I don't see anyone beating Algeria. Burkina Faso, yeah, they could go in. I mean, they've been good the last couple of years, but their quality right now is up in the air. You don't really know where they are, and with the things happening in that country, they recently had a military coup, and guys took over the government, and they're in power now. I don't know whether or not that affects the federation's ability to bring in the right guys. Plan. We'll see what happens and who shows up, but I think the second place will be between Burkina Faso and Angola. Angola's team, who knows how good they are? It's kind of up in the air as well. So we'll see. But that definitely first part goes to Algeria. The remaining two teams, Burkina Faso and Angola, have to fight for that second place. All right. So in Group E, we have Tunisia, Mali, South Africa, and Namibia. So Tunisia as well, I believe, have the ability to win this group. It's kind of funny in African soccer, man, because sometimes you think, okay, yeah, Tunisia is just going to win the group, but then first game, Mali shocks you and beats them 2-0, right? And then what do you do? So it's really weird, but Tunisia is an organized team. They come to play, they're compact. And these guys, teams like Tunisia, usually you watch them in Afcon, African Cup of Nations, and they compete. They actually show up and play harder and compete harder than they do when they go to the World Cup. When they go to the World Cup, it seems like, no offense to Tunisia, but it just seems like they just lay down. They don't compete as hard. They just get walked over. The Moroccan experience recently was huge. That was a big performance for North Africa in the World Cup. But looking at this group, I think Tunisia comes through. I think Mali and South Africa are the teams that one has to look at and think, well, these two probably fight for the second spot. Namibia is not doing anything in this World Cup. Sorry, Namibians. So anyway, Group F, Morocco, the DRC, which is Democratic Republic of Congo, Zambia, and Tanzania. It's also going to be a good group. I think it's going to be Morocco, of course, without question. They're going to blow like a hurricane through this group. I don't see anyone coming close to them, unless, of course, they get overconfident and then strange things start to happen. But I just don't see that happening. I think they have enough depth and players with confidence. They'll go through this group easily. Then maybe Zambia could end up being that second team, takes the second spot. Okay, so when the preliminary rounds are cleared up, all the group winners and then runners up, and then the four highest ranked teams, highest ranked third place teams qualify for the knockout stage. And then they go into the knockout stage and see what happens there. But that's the Afcon draw and Sportdev's predictions. Thank you for joining us, and we'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.